you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the big show. We certainly appreciate you guys coming by. Thanks for being here. As always, we couldn't do the show without you guys, because where would we be after 16 years and nearly 2,000 episodes? 3 to 4 times a day, we have the most amazing minds that come on the show, share with you their brilliance, their insights, their cathartic moments in life they learn from, so that you can learn from them as well. And the best thing to do is to share the show. Give it 5-star reviews over there in iTunes. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss. Support the show in every way possible. You know, maybe pray to it once a day. You have to point to, I think, north or something when you do that. But just do it. I don't know what prayers you're supposed to say. We're not kind of that sort of religion or cult. But just send in 10% of all your earnings. Anyway, guys, we had an amazing young man on the show. I think I just figured out a new way to make money, and it's tax-free. I have to check with the tax account we had on yesterday. We have an amazing young man on the show. Trin Hatch is joining us. He is a gentleman who runs a site called, and I'm not sure if I get this right, jamfa.com. Do I have that right?
Yeah, Jamfa, Jampa, just depends on where you're from and your accent, I think.
There you go. And it's a Tibetan pharmacy with lots of CBD stuff going on. So you're going to learn about how to regulate your pain and improve the health of your life. Trin was born into a multi-generational military family where protection was a natural career choice. Over 10 years of service, he provided personal security to Olympians, royalty, diplomats, executives, FDA scientists, elites, and victims of human trafficking. His training and instincts prepared him to manage whatever situation presented until one night in 2012. The assault took him by surprise and overpowered him. In a few brutal moments, his career and health were irreparably damaged. His left leg was left so severely broken that the doctors weren't sure if they could save it. He spent 3 months locked in a external fixator as they did surgery after surgery on him. Welcome to the show, Trin. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for having me, Chris. It's wonderful to be here.
There you go. It sounds like you had quite the experience there and changed your life and got you into the field you're in. Tell us where people can find your company on the web.
Yeah, we can be found at jampa.com, which is spelled JAMPHA.com. We also have a site for consultations that's called heal.me/Jampa. And we're also offering free consultations for anybody listening to the show.
There you go. Tell us give us a 30,000 overview, what you do there at the company.
Yeah, basically what we do is we create an advanced expression of plant medicine. We work with a Tibetan physician who has 50 years of experience. He was one of the first Western gentlemen to be given lineage into the ancient Tibetan healing science of Suwa Rigpa. Mm-hmm. And so he brought that wealth of knowledge back to the West with him and has been practicing here for the past 50 years. And now is our co-creator and formulator for all of our products.
Wow.
And so we take Tibetan medicine and we add some advancements, thanks to science, to what's already worked for thousands of years, and especially terpenes.
There you go. Now, what are terpenes?
Yeah, terpenes are the constituents of plants that are responsible for environmental balance. Any essential oil that you have is usually a combination of anywhere from half a dozen to a few dozen terpenes. And so those isolated terpenes, they really hold the vast healing potential of the plant. In Tibetan medicine, they're considered the life force energy of plants. Mm-hmm. And so in traditional herbal medicine, we lose the terpenes when we dry them to prepare them into our herbal preparations. And so now, thankful to the hemp and the cannabis industries, we have a plethora of terpenes available to us, and we're able to use those isolated terpenes in different synergistic combinations to greatly enhance and increase the healing potential of the botanicals in our formulas.
There you go. And you guys have CBD, I believe, in all your products?
We have both. We have, CBD is not traditionally an ingredient in Tibetan medicine, but we've adapted all of our infusions so that we have all of our infusions available in non-CBD, and the infusions that benefit from CBD, we've included CBD and have those available separately.
There you go. So we kind of set up a story in your bio about how you were assaulted and your left leg was severely broken. Tell us a little bit about that journey and how did you get down this road to, it led you to starting this company?
Yeah, it was happened about 12 years ago. I broke my leg so severely that the doctors wanted to amputate it. I was not able to make decisions, and my next of kin was my mother, and she refused them to remove my leg. And they told her he's going to be in pain and on medications the rest of his life. He'd be much better off without his leg. But she said, no, I know my son. He'll want to keep his leg. And so I did. And they were right. For the next 5 years, I was in and out of hospitals and doctors and specialists, had all kinds of issues that they gave me medications for. I ended up on 16 or 17 medications and really hit rock bottom. I got to the point where no one was really giving me help. They were just passing me on to the next physician and onto the next medication. And, really out of desperation, I prayed and just asked the universe and said, whatever's out there, whoever's out there, please help me find a path to healing. My life has really come to a place that I don't want it to be anymore, and I need to find a way to find my way back to vibrance and health. And within 2 weeks, I was led to CBD and started to study and experiment with CBD and terpenes. And over the course of the next 2 years, I created different products to get myself off of my own medications, and I was able to do that. I got off all of the medications.
Wow.
And that led us to, really, my wife, to the idea of why don't we start a company and share this with the world. And at the time, I thought, all the things you got to do to put into a company, had already been there and done that. And it seemed like more work than it was worth. But she was persistent, and we did it. We created a CBD and terpene company. We began formulating with FDA food scientists and biochemists, created a whole line of CBD products that did very well. And about 2 years into that journey, I realized that there was a whole ocean of healing out there with the botanical and mineral kingdoms, and we really weren't tapping into that. And so I applied and was accepted into a PhD program for herbal pharmacology. And my wife, again, she said, why are you doing this? Why can't we find somebody else to do it? You're going to go to school for 6 years to learn this when we could find somebody else. Fair point. We don't see enough as it is. And so I said, partners and egos and all the stuff that goes into finding the right person to be in business with. I didn't really want to go down that path. But she said, well, you asked the universe last time and it answered. So why don't we ask at least once and see what happens? I said, all right, I can't argue with that. So we wrote down on a little piece of paper that we wanted the universe to send us a master of botanical pharmacology, and then forgot about it. And about 2 weeks later, she received a LinkedIn message from a gentleman named Lekshi. Wow. And the message said something like, I see what you're doing with terpenes. My guides have led me to you, and I'd like to come and speak with you about what you're doing and see if I can offer any insights. And we had no idea at the time that Amchi wasn't his first name. It's actually a title for a master Tibetan physician and lineage holder of Suwa Rigpa. And so within a few months, he came to our facility. He'd actually just moved to our county, about 20 or 30 minutes down the road from us. So it was very synchronistic the way that it all happened. And we began a relationship where we've talked almost every single day since. And so within about a year and a half of us meeting, we brought our companies together and co-created what has now become Jampa Tibetan Pharmacy.
That is awesome. You guys have been in business for how long now?
Since 2019, so 5 years.
There you go. This is it's a great thing with CBD oil and marijuana. I believe the FDA has announced they're gonna make it basically legal. They're gonna move it down the scale of illegal drugs or something like that.
Yeah, I saw they were going to schedule it to Schedule 3 or something. And yeah, very, very good.
Yeah, that would be great. For years, I drank vodka for years for pain and for I used it as a fuel. As an entrepreneur, you're like, I need to work a few more hours tonight, get this paperwork done, and I'd throw back some vodkas and then I'd have fuel, but a lot of it was sugar. I'm wearing half that sugar, and it was also good for pain. If I was tired, and one of the things it would do is kind of revitalize me by relaxing me a little bit. But that's a very short term thing. For 20 years, I have a high tolerance for any drug, like aspirin, you name it, except for penicillin. Penicillin's like a crack drug for me. Wow. You give me 1 or 2 penicillin, I'm healed of whatever it is. Like I could be dead. You give me penicillin, a couple pills of penicillin, and I'm
right back
again. Mm-hmm. But everything else takes a lot, even alcohol. And so my friends would try and get me high with pot, and I could just never get high. I smoked.
Oh my gosh!
And it just wouldn't work. And I have the same problem with some other drugs that you try in the lower levels, and I'm just like, this isn't doing anything for me. I have a I have a little coffee high, and I have back drainage. I mean, I don't know what this cocaine thing's about. So it was kind of good for me because I didn't get into drugs much. I just stayed with vodka. But my friends would always tell me about the pain elements of pod, marijuana, and I would always be like, yeah, sure, okay, yeah. And I would hear about people that would, that did have severe pain. They were dying of cancer and stuff, and other things. And I'd just be like, okay, hey, whatever you get you through the thing. I don't know if it really works on pain, but you're really high, so maybe that helps. I feel the same way when I had a half a bottle of vodka. So I didn't really buy it. And then I think it was 2017, Las Vegas, Nevada, legalized pot and made it recreational use. You could have it delivered to the door. So I was like, fuck it. This alcohol is really starting to bruise me up and stuff. I'll try and see what this marijuana is like. And holy crap, dude, that thing was like an instant hit. With edibles was the trick to getting into the system. Right. Wouldn't work with smoking. Edibles were the way to get in there. And you have to wait 2 hours, but I mean, it works. And so I was living on like Tylenol at the time, especially for hangovers. And I literally switched from alcohol to marijuana for pain and just relaxing. And it was so much healthier for me. And one day I went into my bathroom and I'm like, what is this bottle of Tylenol doing here? I'm like, holy crap, I haven't touched Tylenol in like 6 months.
Oh, wow.
This bottle's just sitting here. And I used to live on this crap. That's when I realized that this stuff is great for pain.
Yeah, great for inflammation. That's one of the keys to my journey that I learned is when you remove the inflammation from the body's very resilient and able to heal and regenerate and restore itself. But inflammation is often a block to that. Yeah. And so CBD is really marvelous for relieving inflammation. And when you combine that with different combinations of terpenes, you can affect inflammation in different body systems in different areas. And so you can target that relief.
There you go. I should just go soak in it. Do you make a bath of CBD that I can just?
We've been talking about that. I'm going to send you now that you've told me a few things. I'm going to send you a white elephant formula, which is a neurocognitive enhancer. Try that instead of when you got to work a couple of extra hours at night, and you'll be pleasantly surprised.
There you go. I think you did send us a sample kit. We haven't got a chance to try it, and I shared it with my 82-year-old mom because she takes a lot of CBD oil. But I think we have that. But wonderful. Yeah, that stuff like that can be really important because inflammation is it's one of the things I think we suspect. I guess I don't want to be careful what I say here legally, but we suspect leads to cancer. The body gets inflamed and it stays inflamed, and it eventually destroys cells, or those cells become malignant and go to the thing. We've had people on the show that have alluded to that. Let's put it that way. I don't want to say it officially causes cancer. So when people look at your website, tell us a rundown of some of your top products. You mentioned the white. Did you say
white elephant?
White elephant?
Yeah. Yeah. All of our tinctured infusions are under the Advancing Tibetan Medicine tab. Mm-hmm. These are all liquid infusions. They're water-based. They do have alcohol in them, the terpenes and the botanicals. Mm-hmm. And then we have our Tibetan pill medicines, which is a separate tab to the right of that tab. And this is really a beautiful offering that we have that's not available anywhere else in the world to the public. It's Tibetan pill medicines, which have been created in the Buddhist medical monasteries for thousands of years and really are the epitome of Eastern medicine. And so we have two types of traditional pill medicines. One is the traditional pill medicines, and the other is the Rinchen precious pills. And Rinchen precious pills contain crystals, different precious metals that have had their toxic elements removed. Mm-hmm. They're very safe and very effective and work within the energy systems of the body as well as the physical aspects of the body. So those pills can be a huge catalyst for healing when really specialized support is needed. And so I would encourage people to really check those out. I think we have about 26 pills that are available. We also have our SETI formulas. SETI stands for Synergy Enhanced Terpene Infusions. Those in formulas are liquid botanical extracts, and they are used really for symptoms and for keeping things in balance. The Tibetan infusions are really focused on specific biomedical applications, and so those can be used in combination. They all work in synergy. All of these products, they're communicating with your body's biochemistry in a way that's very profound and different to allopathic or Western medicine. And that allows the medicines to communicate with the body and come up with guidance, solutions, and offer pathways to healing that are in alignment and in balance with your body's natural healing systems. And so, all of these products don't have interactions. They don't cause side effects. If your body doesn't need what it's taken, then it'll simply pass through, and you won't have any effects from it.
Yeah, it's and so many people swear by CBD oil. I usually go for the pure stuff, the marijuana, living in Vegas. But hopefully they'll get legalized here and it'll become a part of your guys' formulas. But it's a great way where everybody, is CBD legal? I don't know the legalities. It's legal in all 50 states to distribute, right?
There's a few states that have their own internal laws. Yeah, Idaho and North Dakota. There's a few places that don't like it. So they don't sell it at stores there, but it still can be shipped there according to the Farm Bill.
Ah, there you go. There's always got to have their own little rules so they can profit off it.
Right, that's exactly right.
Utah does that with alcohol. They mark up alcohol like 88%. And
oh my gosh.
It's because we're protecting you. No, it's because you make a lot of money off of doing it. 88% markup.
That's nuts.
I remember coming from California and visiting my mom in Utah and being like, what the hell's going on here, man? These wines are way more expensive. Yeah, it's kind of funny. In fact, you could get busted if you bring in cheaper booze from out of state.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't think they arrest you, but they seize all your crap and they think they ticket you and stuff. But I know of people that they go down to Costco in Arizona or Vegas once a year and they just buy like a truckload of stuff. They bring it back for their own thing, but if they ever got pulled over, there'd be a conversation. So you developed all these different things. I can see there's a search by health need bar on your guys' website. So there's, I can't list everything you've got here, but anti-inflammatory, antibiotic and antiviral, anxiety relief, arthritis relief, digestive health, detox, brain health. I probably need like gallons of that. Heart health, that's probably good. Boost energy and vitality. Vision health, I need a lot of that. Hormonal imbalance, natural libido, immune boosters, Lyme disease, fungus and mold. That's a lot of that going around. Mineral supplements, lung health, and liver cleanses support. Oh, I got through them all. So there's a lot of different things that people, there's still a few more at the bottom, pain health and skin health, stuff like that. Sleep support. That's the one I need a few gallons of too.
We're going to get you onto a protocol, Chris.
Yeah, my problem is as I lay to bed and I go, I'm going to watch a few entertaining TikToks. And then 4 hours later, I'm still watching TikToks. That's a sleep problem Chris Voss has. But you're just like, just one more TikTok and just one more laugh. But they're so addicting, so funny. What are some things we haven't covered that we should talk about and what you guys offer? I know there's an EMF protection section here.
Yeah, that's we have an EMF protection bracelet, but we also have a formula, the same one I mentioned earlier, White Elephant, which is an internal remediation formula. That formula will support neurocognitive function, memory. It also contains supplements that your brain uses to create new neural pathways. So you're giving your body the support it needs for neurogenesis. It's very profound for that, but one of the added benefits is the EMF remediation. I went on a trip, had to go through a lot of airports and scanners and whatnot, and I could actually feel the effect of the EMFs. And so when I got home, I started using the White Elephant. Within 3 doses, those kind of heavy effects started to dissolve and left. And so that formula is something that probably most of us need if we're traveling.
Yeah. There you go. One of the things that I notice, and this is really important if you're buying something of CBD, you have on your website your third-party verified hemp certificate. Tell us why this is important to look for these when you're buying CBD oil.
Yeah, I learned this lesson the hard way. Back when I was going through my own healing process, my father at the time spent, I think, $6,000 on CBD RSO in syringes. for me to be able to use to try to get healthy again and get off the medications. And I started taking them. I got through about 3 syringes, and then I woke up one day and it felt like my insides were on fire, and ended up in the hospital. And I had organs that were starting to shut down because the oil that I was using was tainted with heavy metals and pesticides, about 100 times the legal limit. And so I got a lot sicker, and it kind of turned me off CBD for a while. It wasn't until I reconnected with a friend from college who'd started an organic CBD company that I got the medicine that was clear and clean. Up until that point, I hadn't found a consistent product that had consistent testing and, no heavy metals or pesticides. So you really want to make sure that your CBD is coming, 1, from organic hemp, 2, check the solvents that are used, make sure it's an ethanol solvent, and you want to ensure that there's 0 pesticides used in the cultivation, and make sure that they have a heavy metals test.
Yeah, and that the CBD is actually in there. I've heard reports of we've had authors on that have talked about this, and it's like you need to make sure that CBD is in there that they say it is. Some of the China stuff had fentanyl in it.
Yeah,
they were finding, and so it's a big deal.
That was one of the reasons why we got into the business, is because it took me years to find a source that was reliable and clean, and it was somebody that I actually knew. So if that's how much trouble I was having, then we could imagine other people were having similar issues, and wanted to make sure that we had the cleanest, safest CBD products available, and we do.
There you go. That's really important, folks. You always want to check that, because that makes all the difference in the world. It's something that you don't want to. You don't want fentanyl in your stuff and a bunch of crap. And sometimes you're paying for CBD and you're not really getting the CBD oil. So those are, whenever you're buying CBD, are so important. So I see those are listed on your site, and I like how you guys offer them. One of the problems my mom has when she tries to buy CBD oil, and I educated her this after we had an author on the show, that you've got to ask for those certificates. A lot of times you have to ask for the certificates.
Right.
They don't display them, so people can find those active on your website and stuff. How is there any sort of stories you heard from people and how you've helped them, how you changed them? Any success stories you want to share?
Sure, yeah. A lot of what we've created has been from personal need or need within our community. One of the most recent formulas that we made is called Lifumo. It's a lime, fungus, and mold remediation formula. We actually created that formula because one of our first customers called us one day very distressed and said, my friend is about to go into a hospice. She's sure that she's going to die. She's put all of her belongings into a estate sale, and is there anything you can do for her? And I said, sure, give me her phone number and I'll give her a call. And so I called her. She answered, and she was in the car park of the hospice about to walk in. We had about an hour-long conversation, and I explained to her what we could offer, and she said, all right, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to turn my car around. I'm going to go home. And she did. And we sent her the products and a protocol to follow. And over the course of about a year, she was able to get Lyme's disease under control. She had more than a dozen co-infections, bacterial infections, chlamydia, pneumonia in her lungs, as well as osteoporosis and osteoarthritis. And so a huge amount of imbalances and issues. And she wasn't even able to function really at all. And so we started her on the formulas that we already had, but I took this case to Amchi and let him know what was going on and said, is there anything else we can do for her? And he said, she really needs a formula that addresses Lyme and the co-infections at the same time. And so he went to work and created Lifumo because of that need that had come up. And she has been using the products for about 2 years now. She's a doctor. She's able to get back to work and see her clients again. I actually just spoke to her this morning. She sent us some more tongue images so that we could see how her progress has been. And she said she's about 80% back to health. And that's one story. There are a lot of stories like that. But the truth is, Chris, our bodies are the master healer. Within all of us are innate healing systems that, when brought online, will bring us back into health and back into balance and give us the information that we need to find that path. And helping people to dial into that innate wisdom is one of our first goals, because once you're dialed into that wisdom, you're now sovereign to make decisions about your health for yourself and be more educated in making those decisions with your physician.
Most definitely. And inflammation has a way of cascading where I used to have this when I used to be hungover. I would get really bad inflammation from just being hungover from drinking too much. And the older I got, the more my body was just like, we're not doing this with you anymore. You get in your 50s and 3 beers and you're hungover the next morning. You're like, I had 3 beers, and I had a protocol to try and beat it of vitamin B and, drinking a gallon of water before I went to bed that night. And, all sorts of tricks of trying to get around to beat the hangover. And I just finally I couldn't beat it anymore. My body was just like, we're done with your bullshit. But that hangover, the inflammation, one part hurts and then the other part starts hurting, and it's just a cascading effect, and lots of things go wrong, especially with Lyme disease. I mean, geez, I've had friends that have suffered from Lyme disease, and it's almost like MS. It moves around and travels around your body. It's hard to pinpoint. You never know where it's going to be the next day, and it masks itself in so many different ways that it's hard to even for doctors to even identify.
Yeah, that's very true. That was my experience and what I dealt with. After my injury, I had polyarthritic joints, which just means arthritis in more than 5 joints. And so that inflammation, your shoulder will feel better. Now your leg hurts. Your leg will feel better. Now your hip hurts. It's constantly bouncing around your body. And, we haven't really had tools that address polyarthritic joints like we have created in a formula called White Tiger. We created a formula called White Tiger for pain and inflammation, arthritis, people dealing with multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia. It's very powerful at supporting the body in neuroregenesis and also in dredging the nerve channels. So removing blockages and inflammation from the actual nerve channels. So White Tiger for me was the difference between being able to lift free weights again, being able to ride a bike, being able to run. I had never run in 10 years up until when AMZN created the White Tiger. Oh, wow. And now I've got back a large part of my physical ability to just, go out and be part of the world and enjoy life with my wife and my dog. Things that I didn't think would be possible again. An interesting story with that formula, Chris, is when he first made it and I started using it, about maybe 2 weeks after I started using it, I had in my hand here, I stopped a pistol from misfiring so somebody didn't get hurt. And I put my hand over the top of it and moved it away, and the round went off and caused a big flesh wound, but it went through my nerve there. And so I lost feelings in these 2 fingers. Wow. And about 2 weeks after using that formula, I started having this shooting energy sensation coming off these 2 fingers, almost like I was Harry Potter and my wand wasn't stopping. Wow. And I went to AMZN and said, what could this be? I was a bit nervous. And he kind of thought for a second. He said, well, do you have any nerve damage in that hand? And I said, oh, yeah, actually, I do. I'd used a topical that we made to get rid of the scar tissue so I could barely see it. Oh, and he said, what's your nerve regenerating? And I said, how's that possible? And he said, well, it's possible. That's what the formula is there to do. And over the course of about the next week, that sensation went away and my feeling returned completely. And that was the first sign of, wow, this is really something special. And I continued taking that formula for 3 months, and man, my whole body changed.
Wow. That's just amazing. It's, a lot of people, my mom swears by CBD oil. She's going to get a chance to try your formulas. And I see the effects of marijuana. It's more of a higher dose, but I really love to see if this. I hope they legalize it. I'm just a walking example of the inflammation of alcohol and stuff, and just what it was doing to me, and then the calming effect. One of the things I had during that time was my dog died of cancer after about a year's worth of hospice care that we gave her, a year and a half, and so I was going through a really depressed time. I was just in a bad place there for a while, and CBD was very calming. I had a lot of, I don't know if anxiety would be the right word. I had a lot of depression and darkness and stress over what was going on with her and her passing, and really the calming effects of it were really helpful in just getting me to relax and find some peace and kind of center around that peace. That really made all the difference. So I highly recommend it for people.
Yeah, we have a formula called Healing Heart, which would have really benefited you through that time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about 6 months ago, I again went to AMZN. I was working with quite a few of our customers, and they were using different protocols, and they weren't working as effectively as I'd hoped. And so I went to him and I said, what could be the cause of this not working the way that it should be? And he said, we really need to support the heart, Trinla. He said, when there are emotions and traumas trapped within the neural network of the heart, those become blocks to physical healing. And if somebody's not doing spiritual practices or something to address those, then it just lingers and stays. And so we created a formula called Healing Heart, which helps to relieve the trauma, those emotions. When you're grieving, helps to alleviate that grieving. Also anxiety, depression. It's really a powerful formula for liberating the chi energy within the body and sharing that chi energy and balancing it with the other organs.
Yeah, the peace you get from it is just unlike anything else, and you feel relaxed. You know, the problem with booze is you drink booze, and yeah, you feel great for those 2 hours or whatever, but you wake up the next morning, your body just hates the hell out of you, and you retain water, and you're bloated, and you just feel like hell. And with the healing power of marijuana, you feel so relaxed. You wake up the next morning, you sleep well. You don't sleep well on vodka, even though you think you do. And you just feel healed. You feel whole again. And it was like the first time in my life where I felt like a human being again. I would wake up and be relaxed and peaceful, and just clear the mind, and the body feels like, you know, people don't realize you need that sleep and you need that healing to take everything down, but you need the help to bring down the anti-inflammatory stuff, because that's what kills you, man. You know,
yeah,
body's inflamed, nothing works.
Inflammation and parasites, they're really the silent killers.
Oh, I eat those for breakfast, the parasites. Those are good. I have a little milk stirred around like cereal and chew those down. Now, do you have anything for getting my soul back from the devil that I sold so I can have this podcast?
Healing Heart's a good start. You know, the heart, it generates a really strong electromagnetic field, and that permeates the whole body. And so when the heart's activated with the higher frequencies of love and compassion, that electromagnetic field, it's actually amplified and expanded. And this is what's called a torus field activation. So that process there will go a long way to helping with what you just mentioned. The pineal gland, it has a sensitivity to this electromagnetic energy of the third eye. And so when you activate the heart and electromagnetic field, it starts to act in concert, vibrating and activating in concert with the heart. And as these two organs entrain together, they actually combine into a higher octave vibration that opens the third eye to greater inspiration, intuition, creativity, and inner vision.
There you go. I need all the help I can get. Give us the final pitch out on how people can find out about your products, how they can onboard, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, if you have questions, you can shoot me an email at Trinn, Trinn, @jampha.com, which is spelled JAMPHA.com. We also have a free consultation that we offer for people to get a feel for what we're doing and see if it's the right fit. You can find that information at heal.me/Jampha, JAMPHA. And then, of course, our website is jampha.com, JAMPHA.com. We're also offering a discount for anybody watching the show. If you just use the discount code of Chris Voss, you'll receive a 15% discount.
There you go. 15% discount, folks. Use the code of Chris Voss. One word, I think.
Yeah, one word. That's right.
There you go. One word, Chris Voss. There you go. So thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, Trinn.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, Chris.
There you go. We can get people out of pain, and God, I just hope they legalize marijuana. I mean, I used to think all my friends are full of shit when they used to tell me about it really helps with pain. I'm like, yeah, okay, you whatever. You know, we had people on the show, they had PTSD, and it was helping with their PTSD, and I'm like, I think my vodka helps me with my PTSD, but man, vodka was so bad for me, and I quit alcohol in 2020 because it just wasn't worth it. You know, I could tune into my body and feel that 3 days of bloating and water gain, and you know, your body responds to drinking and goes, oh, if you're going to keep doing this, we're going to bloat you up with a bunch of water so you don't dehydrate, and I would just feel like shit and drag. I would feel my body drag for 3 days. I really tuned in, and it's like, this isn't healthy for me anymore. So that's your liver being depleted. Your liver is being depleted of your life force energy. We actually have one of the Rinchen pills that I mentioned before. It's called Rinchen Turquoise 25, and it's actually a hangover pill and used for balancing
balancing and stopping degenerative trajectories within the liver from drinking, especially. So it might be good for you to try a few of those, Chris. We can send you some.
I'm going to go back to drinking, but maybe we can clean my liver up.
Exactly. That would be,
over 20 years of drinking. Don't drink, people. Give up booze. Seriously, it's the best thing for you. And marijuana is just, it's so great. And like I said, I mean, I remember walking into my bathroom and open up the medicine closet, seeing the bottle of Tylenol there, and I'm like,
shocked.
I haven't used this in 6 months. I'm like, holy crap, I was living on this crap. And that's when your light kind of goes on and you realize why profit companies that want to sell you these kidney destroying, liver destroying, over the counter drugs, they don't want marijuana legalized. You're like,
no way.
Why?
That's a huge amount of their business is going to go away overnight once it happens.
A lot of business from me, and plus this stuff is so bad for your liver. Anyway, thank you for coming on the show, Trin. We really appreciate it. Give us the .coms one more time as we go out.
Okay, it's Jampha, JAMPHA.com. For a free consultation, mention the Chris Voss Show at heal.me/Jampha. I think that was it.
There you go. So thank you very much for coming on the show. Thanks for for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss one, the TikTokity, and all those crazy places in the internet. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time. And that's